Pavel Podvig joins us now. Pavel is a senior researcher in the Weapons of Mass Destruction program at the United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research, and he joins us from Geneva in Switzerland. Pavel, thank you so much for your time. I think I know what your answer is going to be here, but I want to hear it. We're talking about Ukraine's allies supplying more and more weapons for the fight against the Russians. How much is that a political calculation and how much a military calculation?
Well, I think it's definitely both, because this is the politics of war, and I think now that the United States, NATO committed to supporting Ukraine, it is really difficult to imagine a situation when that support stops.
There are some analysts who are saying that actually there's a slightly cynical element to Western support for Ukraine, because even to people like me who are not experts, it's become obvious that the Western military assistance has made a huge difference to Ukraine's ability to resist what is effectively a much larger force. If that was apparent to the leaders in Western nations quite quickly, why didn't they put together a huge package all together with everything that Ukraine needed, including intelligence, satellites, whatever, ground weaponry, as well as these air defense systems? You can tell I'm not a military expert. And the analysts, the ones who are saying there's a cynicism about it, is that the West is trying to bleed Russia dry, to make the Russian military suffer while it tries to conquer Ukraine. Do you think there's any credibility in that?
I think that things are a bit more complicated. If you remember the situation we were in back 11 months ago now, then there was a serious concern, and I would say a justified concern, that direct involvement of Western countries into this war and massive assistance with the modern weapons could actually lead to an escalation. And escalation, as we all know, could escalate all the way to a nuclear exchange. And this is definitely a scenario that nobody wants to find themselves in, including Russia, of course. But there was quite a bit of caution in early on. Still there is, and rightly so, I think, because this is a very important task. Is to make sure that this conflict does not escalate.
Are you surprised at how apparently ineffective, at least that's much of the, can we call it spin, that we get from intelligence experts in the West, how ineffective the Russian military has been, or did you possibly foresee something like this?
I'm not specifically expert on the Russian military or on the kind of operations that the Russia and Ukraine are involved in today. To some extent, I think it was a surprise, but that Russia has not been able to achieve more. But then, on the other hand, certain elements don't surprise me or any observers. And definitely, Ukraine put up very strong resistance. That was also definitely a factor.
Look, just because of the position you have at the institute that you work for, Pavel, just give us a final assessment about whether you think that actually this conflict may end up being possibly Vladimir Putin's most important, if negative, legacy, that it could mark the beginning of the end of his time as the leader of Russia.
Well, first of all, we are a research institute, so we are not part of the formal UN system. And my personal opinion is that one thing is absolutely clear, that the Russian state, the Russian government will undergo a very serious transformation as a result of this war. To what direction this transformation will take Russia, we don't know. I hope that in the end we will see, maybe not immediately, we will see Russia as a democratic state integrated into larger European institutions, including economic and security institutions. And I think there is a good chance that that will be the end. But unfortunately, the road there could actually be very long.
Pavel, thank you so much. It's worth theorizing sometimes, especially with someone like you who has a certain area of expertise. Don't worry, we don't want to indicate that you're a representative of the whole of the United Nations. Pavel Podvig in Geneva. Thank you, Pavel.